Today we're going to make a video to help a customer out who called us with a problem. He has a hole in a batting cage. We're making this video because we're going to try to show him how to patch heavy netting. Heavy netting gets repaired different than the smaller stuff. Number 15 and 21 netting, when we're patching a hole, we can simply drop in here, tie around the mash, and make the net up, patch the hole up. With heavy netting, you can't do that, because if you come in here and tie around the strings, you shorten the mash and it distorts the net so bad. So what we're going to do is, my customer has this exact hole in his net right here, so we're going to start out with this here. If the hole is bigger, it doesn't change, because we're going to show you how to start, how to end, and how to tie the knot in the middle. Bigger hole, you just do more of it, that's all. So the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to tie on to the string that is broke. Now this one has already frayed, and I don't really have enough here to tie. So what we're going to do is we're going to untie and go back one mash. So we're going to loosen the knot up here, and we're going to untie this knot, and that's going to give us enough to start with. Now we're also going to have to do the same thing on the inside, because here again it's too short for me to tie on to here. So we're going to go ahead and prep the other side by untying this mash. Okay, now you're saying we're making the hole bigger, and we are, but we're making the hole bigger to make the repair look much better. Okay, at this point we're ready to start our repair. So what we're wanting to do is we want to tie a square knot where we're adding our twine on. Alright, so we're going to tie a square knot in this, and we want this knot to fall in between the existing knot and the one that we're going to make to patch this up. Very important to make sure it comes out right. Now we're going to pull this very tight. Okay, now because this large twine is very prone to coming undone, what we're going to do is we're going to snip these ends, and we're going to burn them and try to kind of melt this to the point that it can't come undone. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to put it like a flat head on this, okay, so that that string can't come back through the knot. We're going to do both sides that way, and you want to leave a little bit here so you can melt it, but not too much that it makes a big old ball on the end. Okay, so chances are that knot will not come untied. Now you can also heat this up just a little. It's nylon, so it can stand a little bit of heat, okay, and that heat will kind of set that knot for you. Okay, so now you have a small knot which will be in between the mash where we're going to tie. At this point we're ready to replace what we've taken out. So we're tying this from left going right. The rule of thumb here always is, if you're sewing from left going right, you always pick up the mash from the back side. If we do that and tie this knot, it'll always look just like the rest of them in the netting. Okay, so we're going to come here, we're going to set the distance, which is about the same as the other mash. We'll come around and back up through. Okay, and we're pulling this tight. This is the same knot that the machine puts in the net, and you want to make sure that you pull it tight. Now we go up to the top, come in from behind the mash, pick it up, set the distance here to be about the right size. We're going to pinch it, and instead of tying below, of course we got to tie above. So we throw our loop, come around through the loop, pull it tight. Okay, come behind, set the distance here, tie our knot. Okay, now to finish this up, this is the part that's a little more difficult. It's easy to tie the square knot here when you're not worried about making a certain distance, but here we've got to not only tie the square knot, but we want the distance to be right. Okay, this just takes practice. Okay, now You also want to make sure you tie a square knot and not what is known as a granny knot. Look up square knot on Google and learn how to tie a square knot. Okay, square knot will hold, a granny knot will not. Okay, and here again we're going to try to pull this nice and tight. Work our knot down, then snip the ends, burn each end. You got to be careful here not to heat the netting close to it. You don't want to burn the other fibers here, okay? And you see I'm doing each one of these as I cut it. If you don't, you run the chance of you not getting loose, and that's what you don't want to happen. Okay, you can kind of melt the little hairs off, and bingo, there you have it. You can see we didn't get this string exactly the same size. Of course, at this point this one's a little short, so we can actually adjust this just a hair. Pull that good and tight, and it looks like the rest of the net. This way you only end up with a knot here, a knot here, as opposed if we had fixed this like we would do number 15 netting. We would drop in here, we would tie around here, try to pull this tight, and you can see how it would distort the mash very hard. Not only that, it is very hard to make these knots hold. Okay, if you got any questions, you can always reach us here at the Fish Net Company. Call and ask for Lee or Michael. We'll be glad to help you. Thank you.